So we're going to get started now.
Okay, could we have the introductory slide, please? Our mystery guest is here, and I am so proud to introduce the governor of Colorado, Jared Polis, who was really a very popular governor. He was first elected in 2018, elected in a landslide in 2022. He was a mentor of my daughter, Katie, for many years while she was in the education, commissioner of education, state of Colorado. He's a great guy. He is a very strong believer in education, entrepreneur, businessman, great speaker, and a really nice guy. So, Mr. Polis.
Thank you, Rick. As you may or may not know, Rick's daughter, Katie, was our commissioner of education for my first term and did a wonderful job running the Colorado Department of Education. We appreciate her work and got to meet Rick through that. Welcome to Colorado. We are, in many ways, the weather center of the world. Hopefully you're doing some cool tours of some of the weather-related technology and federal presence while you're here. And you're experiencing good weather, by the way, although it's a little bit hot, but we typically have our normal beautiful weather here. And of course, we're thrilled to welcome you to our state. I understand it's a triple anniversary of 3 satellite systems, GPS MET, Cosmic, and Cosmic 2. All 3 are near and dear to our hearts in Colorado because they were led by Colorado scientists at UCAR. We are very much the epicenter of weather-related data. You probably look at data with an origin in this area, no matter where you are in the world, subscribe to data feeds out of this area, including space weather that goes into planning for flights and conventional weather. We have so many acronyms here, it's almost like alphabet soup, but we have NOAA, NIST, NCAR, CU, and much more. We also, of course, have a very strong aerospace industry. So there's a very good chance that, again, not only are you getting data feeds here, but many of the satellites that are up there were actually assembled here. Lockheed and Waterton campus, Ball Aerospace, components, the whole satellite, but chances are almost everything up there has some pieces, if not most, that were spent their time here in our wonderful state. So it's exciting to welcome you to celebrate the 30th anniversary of GPS MET, the 20th anniversary of Cosmic, the 5th anniversary of Cosmic 2, really transforming weather prediction. And of course, something also that we care deeply about related to weather, and that's climate trends and climate science. I would add that we also are doing cutting edge research in Colorado in this area. We also, as part of our state, are doing our part to reduce carbon emissions and to address climate change. As a state, we are well on our way to achieving our goal of 100% renewable energy by 2040. We will be at 80% renewable energy by 2030. That's just 5.5 years from now, we'll be over 80%. I think we'll get there in 29 at some point to pass that threshold. We have some utility providers that are getting there sooner than others, but as a whole state, we'll be there sometime in 29, closing our last coal plant by the end of 29 as well. We are the #3 state for electric vehicle sales. which is exciting. We were up from number 5 last year, and we are almost at about a 1/4. It's 23% of vehicles sold in our state are now zero emission vehicles. So this is happening fast, and we're excited by that. We're also have a number of financial incentives around e-bikes and other ways that people can get where they want to go, including transit. So really a comprehensive, not just a source of valuable information about climate science, but we like to think here in Colorado, we act on that climate science, and we show the kind of leadership necessary that we hope other states and other countries are also following. I know that many of you here are here from across the world. I understand, and if I leave your country out, pardon me, US, Canada, the UK, France, Germany, Austria, Australia, China, Taiwan, South Korea, I'm sure many others. We really appreciate the spirit of international collaboration around climate and weather science. And I hope that that is something that we can see in other areas. It's needed very much across the world, but I think there's in many ways greater recognition of that among meteorologists as there perhaps are in other scientific fields, and certainly in the political and economic realms. So on behalf of the state of Colorado, I want to welcome you here. When we work together and innovate, we can truly reimagine what's possible. With the collaborative spirit that you bring as meteorologists, it's really a key to unlocking new discoveries in science and applications for the betterment of humankind. So thank you for being here today, for your important contributions to this work. Congratulations to all the leaders, of course, for the 3 satellite systems that we're celebrating the anniversaries of here today, other satellite systems either deployed or in the works. And I truly hope that while you are here, you get a time to enjoy Colorado as well, our world-class cultural attractions in Boulder and Denver, our beautiful mountains. We're in the high country. You can start seeing the leaves changing to beautiful gold this time of year. Welcome to the state of Colorado, and thank you. Sure. Yeah. Oh, great. Graciously suggested I take questions, and I, love to take questions. You can't stop a politician from talking, so I'm happy to. What's on your minds? You're not shy, I know. Yes.
I was going to say, I'm very impressed with your interest in climate, and how do you see the current presidential race in that regard? And would you consider, eventually trying to play a role in that?
Well, before I get to that, and I'll address it obviously head on, I actually want to tell a little story. So in some ways, I do owe my family my presence in Colorado to science. My father is a physicist, retired now. My mom and dad are from New York. They moved to Colorado in 1970 to work at NOAA. My dad is a astrophysicist that did solar work. And so that's why I'm here in many ways, because of the federal labs. So obviously, this is a very important election for our country with regard to climate. I, as a governor and as a state, can really see amazing progress from this investment through the Inflation Reduction Act and ARPA and the other acts that have occurred nationally. This is directly leading to hyper accelerate our clean energy transition, right? It's work we're doing anyway, but it's a lot faster, a lot bigger because of that grant. We just got a big grant through our electrical utilities that help them meet the renewable energy goals even earlier. So that is very much at risk, obviously, depending on the outcome of election. Kamala Harris is a strong supporter of bold actions on climate change, additional federal investment in this area. I think a lot of us are not quite sure what to expect from a second Trump administration. Certainly we don't know. Again, it came up in the debate, and he talked about solar in the desert, and I wasn't clear whether he was saying that was a good thing or a bad thing, but it's hard to parse. Certainly, a lot of the people around him are not pro clean energy, but we're going to continue to lead here in Colorado regardless. Yes. Oh,
Get him.
okay. We'll get both of you. Don't worry. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Stephen Leroy. I come from a private company, Atmospheric and Environmental Research in Lexington, Massachusetts. So it's great to hear that that Colorado and under your governance is actually pushing so hard toward clean air vehicles. But there's a supply side too, and certainly you must have looked at the economics of renewables. How much can Colorado supply its own renewable electric versus how much you might have to import? How does all of that work?
Well, certainly we support stronger interstate transmission for a more reliable grid. In fact, we require our utilities and our interstate markets for that. But look, looking at the grid, we happen to be, and you see the weather outside, we happen to be a terrific state with the geophysical characteristics for both solar and for wind production, among the best. Of course, you can get up to about 85% solar and wind. And then you need to look at, of course, storage, which we are. And by the way, we're a leader on the technology side of that here as well. But wherever they're made, we're happy to buy them. And of course, one initiative that we've pursued, we don't have a lot of opportunity in hydro. It's like 1%, not a lot of opportunity for growth. We're a dry state. You probably noticed that as well. Maybe we can get another 0.5%. But frankly, geothermal is another one. Enormous characteristics, the heat beneath our feet across the American West here in Colorado. Again, if you want to experience it an hour west of here, we have hot springs you can go in Idaho Springs and beautiful ones 2 hours, 2.5 hours west of here, Glenwood Springs, a number of them. We're not talking about putting it in those springs, but we have plenty of opportunities for geothermal electric, currently 0% of our grid. And so I think some low-hanging fruit is getting that to 4 or 5% of our grid, reliable base load, along with storage. So, we are currently working on 3 potential geothermal electric projects in our state to hopefully get through. And we established a expedited permitting route for geothermal projects as well.
Just continuing that question line, what about nuclear here? I'm from Washington State. We have hydro, so we're in really good shape. You don't have hydro here, and of course, the wind and solar are intermittent. So, are you considering fission or fusion or putting into fusion?
You certainly look. It's not. It doesn't produce carbon. We love it, but it's not at the point where they can like bid it out and come back and be competitive. So, I mean, we're always happy. It always seems 10 years out, and we're always open to it. But like, it's just not. It doesn't really pencil out on actual projects.
Would you have fusion or fission? Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, we don't, one is a little bit more hypothetical, but I mean, we don't develop these. We need somebody to say when a utility goes out for a bid, we can produce at this price and we can build it in, 27 or 28. I mean, it's not there. There's many companies, including some here in Colorado, that are working on exciting technology, but nobody is actually delivering on cost-effective energy that we can buy. We have legacy nuclear, of course. We don't have it, by the way, but Xcel, our utility partner, has some in their grid for Minnesota and their other states, 4 or 5%. But in terms of new nuclear capacity, yeah, I mean, people they talk about it, but they're not ready to bid it out and make it cost effective yet. Good. Is there one more? Or yes, last one.
Yeah, it's really great that you're here. I'm Eric DeWeaver. I work at the National Science Foundation, and we're hearing a lot about, like this morning we heard about fire, and there was a Marshall Fire, and there was a fire north of Boulder this summer, and there are other kinds of natural disasters that are associated with climate change. And I'm just wondering, in your state, how do you go about managing that climate risk?
Yeah, so Colorado, first of all, we are a state and climate is very much a bread and butter issue here. Our 2 largest economic sectors, outdoor tourism and agriculture, are climate dependent, with profound implications for climate change. In addition, you mentioned some of the fire-related events. We've also had a change in the hail patterns over the population centers of Colorado. As I'm sure Rick knows, homeowners insurance has gone up, hasn't it? Your homeowners insurance. We're not happy about that, but it's just they're not like the insurance companies being greedy. It's just the risk has gone up, and many Coloradans are experiencing 30, 40% increases in homeowners insurance. Bigger part of it is hail, roof damage. Smaller part of it is more fire claims, which has also occurred. So in many ways, we have to adapt to this. And in the agriculture sector, it means incorporating soil health and lower moisture crops. We have some pilot level projects around agrivoltaics, also retaining soil moisture more effectively. In outdoor rec, it's hard. Obviously, we make snow, but obviously the ski resorts all are concerned about long-term trends in that area as well. And then, of course, with regard to homes, we're looking at initiatives now around how we can have more hail-proof roofs, sort of class 4, stronger roofs that don't need to get damaged as much. On the fire side, we're much more active on community level risk mitigation. We also have increased our capacity on the firefighting front. We used to own no firefighting aircraft. We just relied on the interstate pool. Sounds great, but what if there's fires in, California, Oregon? While we have our fires, we don't get the aircraft we need. Even if we do, it's too late. So we now own one Firehawk helicopter. We have a second one coming, very large capacity, 2 additional helicopters, and we have 2 more fixed wing aircrafts that we control. We have contract capacity we support, so we can respond very quickly. And we had some fires a few weeks ago that I think our aerial capacity was very much a part of preventing, and there was some homes, I think 5 homes lost, but it came very close to the community of Lyons, for instance, near here, one of the fires, and maintaining that barrier. I don't know if we could have done that without the aerial resources that we had at the time to do that. So it's all of the above, and again, why one of the reasons we're so passionate about climate change is because it is a bread and butter issue that affects us, every family here in Colorado.
What next?
Yeah,
Am I next?
you are next. I can introduce Mr. Rick Anthes on the history of GPS Met and Cosmic.
The governor's a tough act to follow. I wish I could speak as articulately as he, and without notes and without slides. He's a great guy, as I think you probably gathered. Well, okay, so changing subjects completely. This is a celebration of the 30th anniversary, more or less, of GPS Met. The 20th anniversary of Cosmic